I'm the proud mayor of Oakland. It is very exciting that you are all joining us today for a historic announcement. Today, Oakland, California launches one of the largest guaranteed income demonstrations to date in the nation. 600 Oakland families will receive $500 a month with no strings attached for 18 months. Today begins our community engagement process to encourage all low-income BIPOC families to apply for the chance to be randomly selected to participate. We today have all the private funds raised and the implementation partners in place to get checks in the hands of these deserving families as early as this spring and summer. Our vision is an Oakland that has closed the racial wealth gap and where all families thrive. And we believe that guaranteed income is the most transformative policy that can achieve this vision and whose time has come. We believe that poverty is not personal failure, it is policy failure. Our social safety net and even low-wage jobs are not sufficient to meet a family's basic needs, nor propel them along their path to self-sufficiency. An unconditional cash payment is the simple solution that can meet the full complexity of each family's needs. Now, our pilot is 600 families in Oakland. We know that that does not come close to meeting the need in Oakland nor in the nation, where more than 34 million Americans live in poverty. But today, Oakland joins with cities across this great nation, from Stockton to Shreveport to St. Paul, from Compton to Columbia, where demonstration projects will be working in unison to create a body of evidence that provides the unequivocal evidence that says guaranteed income is a policy that must be adopted at the federal level. It is my pleasure to introduce the implementation partner for Oakland's guaranteed income demonstration, which we are so proud to announce is called Oakland Resilient Families. And appropriately, to lead this effort is the Family Independence Initiative, a national organization that was actually born in Oakland and is led by CEO Jesus Herrera. Thank you so much for being here today, Jesus. And please take it away and tell us how this incredible demonstration project will be implemented right here in Oakland.
Thank you so much, Mayor Schaaf, and we're so proud to be in partnership with you and the Mayors for Guaranteed Income to be able to launch this pilot today and get these dollars moving directly into the hands of people quickly. And so just wanted to give a little bit of background about the Family Independence Initiative. As you mentioned, it's rooted here in Oakland, founded 20 years ago, and with a simple belief that people were the best solution. Those who have been struggling in poverty with low incomes are the ones who are already creating those solutions that we are not recognizing or investing in. And that is because in the US, our systems and policies, as you noted, are created by design to hold Black and Brown people back economically. This is based on the belief that low-income people aren't worthy of investment because they aren't educated or don't know how to handle money. And the evidence shows otherwise. Of people living at or below the poverty line, within a 4-year period of time, 75% of them will actually move above that line. Within 5 years, because they're not being seen or invested for the initiative and creativity, they fall back in. And these are the vicious cycles that we continue to see and perceive poverty to be a stagnant position. At FII, instead, we are promoting a strength-based approach that is really centered on 3 key principles. One is the value of community, social networks, and the way that people are supporting one another to be able to seek and find success for themselves. Number 2 is that direct unrestricted cash investment. And the last is autonomy, choice, is that people who are closest to these challenges have the best answers, as I mentioned already, are continuously creating solutions for themselves. We are doing this through our platform, Up Together, which is online, and you can visit it at uptogether.org to be able to join one of the 600,000 members that we have across the country. Now, this pilot, the Oakland Resilient Families, is designed to tackle the existing racial income gap. We know that the Oakland Equity Index that families of color experience the greatest income disparities in the city, with these households making nearly with white households making nearly 3 times median income of Black households. Families of colors have also been the hardest hit by COVID-19, experiencing higher rates of COVID-19 in addition to the loss of income, employment, and housing. We also want to recognize that this pilot is built on a legacy. Guaranteed income has been a goal of the Black Panther platform since its founding. Demands for direct investment in the community in response to systemic injustices isn't new, and it is organized efforts like our partnership with the Mayors for Guaranteed Income that will push our country to create real change. Now, to demonstrate the impact of our investment, FII, in partnership with the Mayor's Office and the Mayors for Guaranteed Income, as well as through advisement from community organizations, designed the pilot as follows. We will enroll 600 BIPOC families in Oakland living with low income and will receive $500 a month or 18 months. Going directly to people, the funding is secure. Of these 600 households, there will be 2 groups. First group is targeting East Oakland residents. We're focusing in East Oakland due to the high concentration of eligible families and because it has been cited as one of the worst COVID-19 hotspots in the Bay Area. By concentrating in this group of participants in one neighborhood, we will have a deeper learning about the community level impact of the cash investment and how community members are supporting one another. The second group, open to a more broadly Oakland residents, will be built in the vast network of MGI cities, amassing evidence with the goal of federal adoption of guaranteed income. Now, application for both of those groups will be online, multilingual, and it won't be on a first come, first served basis. It will actually be randomized, so anybody at any time who is able to apply will be considered to be able to receive payments. Cash payments are 100% unrestricted and unconditional, and we plan to launch the first group this spring and then the second later in the summer. Throughout the pilot, we will be learning directly from families through surveys and in partnership with external evaluators. These are some of the areas we will learn about. We know from our 20 years of investing in families and through studies such as our colleagues in Stockton through the SEED pilot, that this type of investment works. Participating families thrive. Through this pilot, we are adding to the national body of evidence, building to learn from the unique strengths of Oakland families and to examine guaranteed income through the lens of racial equity. We will share this learning as well as stories from participants publicly throughout the course of the pilot. And lastly, I just want to end with a note or a story from one of our past participants. FII distributed our Oakland Equity Fund, through which we invested in 65 Black community leaders in the last couple of months. One leader shared her story with us, that she was a domestic abuse survivor who had been living with at a home for over the last year. And she led in her community by helping other women experiencing domestic violence to deal with their situation and provide hope. Once COVID hit, she began taking action in her community by organizing pop-up testing sites. And she shared with us that she would be utilizing her unrestricted cash investment to house her families. And again, these are one of the many examples of how people are supporting and building community with one another. And if we just continue to recognize and invest in that, we know that that power will only be amplified. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Mike Tubbs, who has been our founder and launched Mayors for Guaranteed Income last summer, to share more about their efforts.
Thank you so much, Jesus, for your leadership. Thank you, Mayor Schaaf, for your leadership. And thank you, who I'll be introducing after my remarks, the good Councilmember Taylor. And thank you all for being here. I am hella proud of Oakland today. I think Jesus mentioned sort of the legacy in which we're talking about in terms of the Black Panthers, in terms of Dr. King, in terms of National Welfare Organization, in terms of Thomas Paine in the late 1700s, and in terms of 50 mayors across this country today are part of Mayors of Guaranteed Income and are saying that we truly believe the most important investment we can make as a government is an investment directly to our people. I think the mayor said it best. Part of this demonstration in Oakland and demonstrations throughout this nation is really to reckon with the fact that we understand the issue isn't that people don't work. The issue isn't that people don't want to work. The issue is that the economy does not work for people. I especially appreciate the explicit focus on racial justice in this demonstration, because we understand that civil rights has always been about protection, not just from police brutality, but also from the brutality of poverty, the brutality of economic insecurity, the brutality of not being able to know if your bills will be paid every month, and not because you're not working hard. And I remember 3 years ago when we launched our pilot in Stockton, people were saying that people were going to stop working. People were saying that people were going to spend all the money on drugs and alcohol. People were saying that folks would just make bad decisions with money, that we would become a different country by providing the dignity that comes with economic security. And the data that came out 3 weeks ago from the pilot shows that all those things are false, that people were actually able to work more because they had a little bit of money, a little bit of breathing room to go and pay for childcare, to fix a transmission, to buy interview clothes, to take a day off, part-time work. We found that people were healthier. People were able to show up as parents, as partners, and as neighbors, which is what government is designed for us to do. And people are also able to weather the impacts that come. We know that COVID-19 has hit all of us, especially hard. And we know that for a lot of us, we live in a time of pandemics, that before COVID-19, folks in Stockton, folks in Oakland, folks across this country were struggling. And we know that we live in a time of pandemics. If it's not a COVID, it's an earthquake, it's a wildfire, it's a flood. And Oakland's leadership is really illustrating what it takes to build economic resiliency. So again, as the former mayor of Stockton, not too far away from Oakland, I have to say I'm just incredibly proud of the leadership. And we know that Oakland is where the future happens. When we think of sort of Wakanda, when we think of sort of culture, when we think in terms of championships, Oakland is always top of mind. So again, having Oakland lead the charge and Mayor Schaaf lead the charge in terms of a guaranteed income, not just as a pilot, but as a policy. And I'll end with saying, I think it's encouraging the leadership of groups like FI, the leadership of folks like Mayor Schaaf and Mayor Taylor and the other mayors and mayors guaranteed income. But let's also be very, very clear. The fact that mayors are piloting and using political capital to raise capital to allow their constituents to have the basic necessities is a policy failure. It's an admission that the status quo isn't working. It's an admission that we have to do something. It's an admission that we need to do more. And that's why I'm so excited about moving from pilots to policy, particularly with an advocate like Mayor Schaaf. So with that, I'll turn it over to my brother, the great councilman from Oakland, someone who's a fearless fighter for people, someone who understands the need to treat everyone with dignity, and someone who trusts his constituents with the agency and the opportunity to make the best decisions for themselves and their families. And that's my good friend, Councilman Taylor.
Thank you. It is exciting to be here, helping to announce the largest guaranteed income pilot in the country right here in Oakland. To Mayor Tubbs, thank you for leading the country both through your successful pilot in Stockton and also by founding the Mayors for Guaranteed Income and making sure that we are moving forward in unison across the country as we demonstrate the potential of this amazing resource. Thanks to Mayor Schaaf, whose vision and tenacity has helped to keep Oakland at the forefront of innovations that can help transform not only our city, but also help lead social innovation, social justice across the country. I also have to acknowledge the incredible support and partnership of the Family Independence Initiative. Thank you, Jesus, Blue Meridian Partners, and Oakland Thrives. As the council representative for District 6 in East Oakland, I represent the district with the largest number of Black people from any district here in Oakland. My district is plagued with higher unemployment, lower net income, and greater health disparities than other parts of Oakland and other parts of the Bay Area. When I think of what guaranteed income can mean to Oaklanders, especially those in my district, I can't help but think of the young high school student living in East Oakland, showing amazing potential for the STEM fields, or maybe it's the arts or even athletics, but can't participate in those enrichment activities because he or she must rush to a part-time job to help pay the bills for his family, his or her family. I also think of the mom who worries so much about keeping a roof over her family's head that her chronic health conditions flare up, putting further stress on their entire household. I'm confident that a guaranteed income will have an incredible impact on the near-term and long-term financial position, as well as the near-term and longer-term health of Oaklanders and those who participate. Guaranteed income is based on the belief that those in poverty are best able to identify what they need to escape that poverty. If someone's tethered to a life of poverty, we can't untether them by tying them down with more strings. And it's because of that, I'm excited about this no strings attached support that's being offered by Oakland Resilient Families initiative that will help Oaklanders better realize their potential. Unfortunately, the first obstacle that underserved communities, underrepresented communities face in access is accessing and awareness of programs like this. And that is why I was excited to join in partnership with Mayor Schaaf, MGI, FII, and others to ensure that we made these resources available, accessible, and readily there for those who we're trying to most serve, our Black, Indigenous, people of color who are most at risk of these disparities and poverty indicated in our Oakland Equities Indicator Report. So in partnership with local community organizations and government leaders, the Oakland Resilient Families Initiative will continue incorporating community feedback on the design and the implementation. There will be opportunities that include multilingual outreach, socially distanced in-person and online presentations, tabling at community events, focus groups with eligible families being compensated for their time. We're also going to be knocking on doors, going to the ground, to the streets. While traditional outreach often comes up short, I'm confident that with the leadership, with our community engagement and involvement, we will bring relief and hope to those who have not had the chance to benefit from the same prosperities that others have here in Oakland and across the Bay Area. We've already engaged with a number of partner organizations and are reaching out, soliciting partnership from others as well. I'll close in acknowledging that while I'm super excited about the benefits that a guaranteed income pilot will have right here in Oakland, in East Oakland, I'm even more excited about what we will learn and how we will contribute to that greater body of knowledge that will allow us to scale successful guaranteed income pilots broadly across the country and erase the deep-rooted inequity that persists here in the United States. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Councilmember Taylor. And now we're going to move to questions from the press. And I see that we already have some in the chat. The first question I'll just take, it's pretty straightforward. All funding for this initiative has come from Blue Meridian Partners, a national funder. There will be information about that in the press release that you will also receive. But all the money to pay for the pilot has been secured. It is all privately funded. It is not using any taxpayer resources. So we're very excited about that. And of course, OaklandResilientFamilies.org is live. It is live right now. Click there. You can sign up to receive updates, information about how to apply when the application is available. And right now, we're soliciting feedback from the communities most impacted by the racial wealth gap and by just an inability for families to thrive in this current economy. So please visit oaklandresilientfamilies.org. Sarah Ravini from the Chronicle asks how much the overall program costs. This is going to be a question for Jesus Gerena. How much does the overall program cost, and what are the income thresholds to qualify? Jesus?
Sure. So overall, we've been able to raise $6,750,000 to support the program. About 80% or just over 80% of those dollars are going directly to the hands of individuals, as we mentioned, totally unrestricted, to be able to run the pilot.
Great. And the next question is for Mayor Tubbs of Stockton. This is coming from Adam Beam at the AP. Is this the first guaranteed income program limited to BIPOC individuals? And also Zenny Abraham from Zenny62 Media, the original vlogger, asks, have we considered the Evanston, Illinois program? Are they part of Mayors for a Guaranteed Income? Mayor Tubbs.
Tough questions. The first question is, and again, I think that goes to the leadership of your mayor and your council member. There's a lot of people talking, and a lot of pilots are going to roll out that have a similar focus, but in terms of the money being raised, in terms of the implementation partners in place, in terms of being ready to go, absolutely. The city of Oakland, California is the first one with the explicit focus on BIPOC families. And again, I think it goes to show the leadership, but also just the history of Oakland in terms of being very at the forefront of issues of racial equity and justice. In terms of the Evanston, Illinois pilot or policy, well, first, I just think that's incredible what they're doing in Evanston in terms of the reparations program. I would love to have them and their leadership part of anything, just that tenacity, that audacity, and that vision. But I don't think there's a structure quite as a guaranteed income pilot. I don't know the details in terms of if it's reoccurring, if it's monthly, et cetera. I am definitely a big fan of what they're doing and looking forward to learning and helping support them. And another important conversation we have to have around how do we redress past inequities to build a better future.
Great, thank you. Darwin Bond Graham, absolutely. We recognize that a pilot program does not change poverty. Large scale policy transformation is what will change poverty. This great nation of America is wealthy enough and should have the values, the moral strength to implement guaranteed income. And as Adam Beam from AP points out, we are absolutely looking at policy change at the local, regional, state, and national level. But the point of Mayors for a Guaranteed Income is to be intentional, that these pilots are not policy change. And this is where philanthropy can be a venture investor, can help us do the evaluation and build the body of evidence and build the stories, do that narrative change work that is so important for policy change, especially at the federal level. But that is our absolute goal from the beginning. And we have designed this demonstration project to add to the body of evidence and to begin this relentless campaign to adopt a guaranteed income federally. Now, we applaud legislators like Evan Lowe that are looking at similar interventions at the state level. I apologize, I am not familiar with the specific bill that Mr. Beam is asking me about. I have not taken a position on that yet. But I have taken a position that guaranteed income, because of its dignity, because of its effectiveness, we have so many social safety net programs to address specific needs. And yet that is not dignified, nor does it recognize the complexity of each and every family, each and every individual. No one should go to bed at night worried that they cannot keep a roof over their heads or that of those they love, that they can't meet basic human needs, even though they are working 1, 2, 3 jobs. This is not economic equity. Guaranteed income is an idea that has been around for a very long time, but its time has come. And COVID has demonstrated that when we put unconditional cash directly into the hands of those who need it most, we are most effectively addressing immediate poverty and actually supporting our entire economy. I see another question from Adam Beam of the AP. One criticism of a federal level guaranteed income program is that it could push out other social safety net programs. What is your response to that criticism? I'll be brief and then I'll let Michael Tubbs chime in because you do this so well. Mayors for a Guaranteed Income are unapologetic in our belief that the social safety net programs must remain. This is not basic universal income. This is guaranteed income. It is going to those who need it. It creates an income floor, not a guaranteed payment for everyone, regardless of their income. That's UBI. This is guaranteed. We believe that those safety net programs should not go away, but should be supplemented with unconditional cash that gives families the dignity and flexibility to meet their needs in that moment, and so that they can chart a path to self-sufficiency. We have ample evidence to show that our safety net programs are necessary, but not sufficient to move people to self-sufficiency. And I hope you all are very impressed with the findings of the Stockton Seed demonstration, that the members who received a guaranteed income found full employment at twice the rate of people who did not. That is compelling evidence about the power of guaranteed income to actually move people out of poverty. Mayor Tubbs, I know that this is something you are also very passionate about.
Yeah, no, I think I'm passionate about it, but I probably couldn't have stated it as clearly and emphatically as you did. So, but absolutely, and I think I've had conversations with folks like Andrew Yang and others, but I just want to be very clear when we talk about a guaranteed income, or even about a basic income, that it has to be one that does not replace the existing social safety net. And I say that because, particularly for folks who are interested, even though, as Mayor Schaaf said, we're talking about a guaranteed income, which speaks to ensuring that those who we know need it get it. But if for folks who care about universality, even in that scenario, a replacement of the safety net is unacceptable, because if I don't need $1,000, but my neighbor needs food stamps, why does it make sense to take away their food stamps to give me $1,000 and to give them $1,000? They're actually in a relatively worse position compared to me than they were before. So has the potential to actually exacerbate some of the gaps we see and some of the inequities we see in our community. So absolutely, I'm excited about this pilot and this demonstration, and also very excited about making it clear when we talk about the income flow for Americans, we're talking about something that's an extension of the existing social safety net, that's building upon the existing social safety net. Because yes, the social safety net is not perfect, but what policy program in America is? I don't hear any conversation about getting rid of the entire military to build a space force and things of that sort. So absolutely no.
Great. And just to be very specific, we are seeking waivers for state benefit programs to ensure that families who receive the guaranteed income demonstration in Oakland will not actually endanger any benefits or social safety net services they are currently receiving. We will also have the option for benefits counselors, and this is something that we are very, very dedicated to ensure that guaranteed income does not compete or replace social safety net services or funds. Jesus, one of the questions is whether the pilot will be available to help homeless individuals. And I don't know if you also want to add to the conversation about how this pilot will also work with social safety net programs.
Sure. Yeah. So on the homeless question, this is open to all. If they choose to be able to apply and are selected, they will be able to participate, as well as undocumented individuals. So really, we're eliminating any barrier to be able to get to any individual who could really benefit from this support or additional support. And I think, going back to the safety net question, what I would add too that is important, and it speaks actually to a question about sort of the moment that we're in. I think people are recognizing, yes, a safety net and to catch people is critical. A springboard is also absolutely critical that recognizes the systemic barriers that have vilified as well as penalized those individuals who have been under-resourced historically in this country. And so with that said, right, to everything both Mayor Schaaf just said in regards to what we want to protect, but then also what do we want to add and what do we want to build on is really important.
Great, thanks. There's a question about whether or not we could implement this at the city level using tax increment financing. Zenny, I believe everyone deserves to be free of the violence of poverty, and it must be done at higher levels than city by city. We have got to aim at least for a statewide guaranteed income or other similar programs that are going to reduce poverty in California that has the highest number of children living in poverty. That is shameful. So that is absolutely our goal. We believe we cannot charity our way out of poverty or other social problems. But I am so grateful to private foundations like Blue Meridian that are investing in actual systems change by partnering with government, by having a policy advocacy plan. We are charting a path to something that would truly change millions and millions of lives. That is a great investment. There's a question about, are there plans to expand? We are certainly hopeful that people will be inspired by Oakland's program, that they will wish to expand the number of families who benefit or the amount of time that these families can benefit from guaranteed income. There are other smaller guaranteed income pilots in Oakland, including one for teachers of color who are teaching in our hardest to hire subjects and who complete a residency program. That's a very small pilot with a very focused outcome, but we are certainly hopeful that everyone will invest in this type of transformational change to how we as a country take care of our people. Let me see. Question for Jesus. Marin supervisors are set to approve a UBI demonstration project this morning. What does it say to you that these programs are spreading throughout the Bay Area and indeed the country?
Yeah, so we've been working with the Marin County Community Foundation to launch a similar demonstration pilot there later this year. And so we're extremely excited about the fact that the county may also match those efforts. And I think it speaks to the fact that this moment is recognizing, again, the value of our under-resourced communities and their contributions, and that they hold the answers. And I would even point to, on a national scale, the American Rescue Plan and how it is saying, hey, we know that the answers lie inside of our communities and our people. We should be investing in them directly for those answers and for those solutions, and that they are the ones who are going to get us through the recovery of this pandemic. And so whether it's on that grand scale on the national level or through our efforts here in the city, as well as in Marin County, we're excited that the conversation is shifting and that rather than continuing to build about what people lack, we're talking about the gifts that they bring and how we can really catalyze their efforts.
Jesus, the next question is for you as well from Annie at East Bay Times. Who will be selecting the 600 families? Is there a rubric for what makes the most appropriate application besides the income thresholds? How long will that take, do you estimate? I just want to be clear. Families will be randomly selected from all the applicants who income qualify. But Jesus, give the details.
No, that's exactly right. So there will be an application process and folks who will be able to do that in multilingual, as well as if they need to be able to have to do it through phone conversations, we'll have the support staff to be able to do so. If they meet the threshold criteria that has been outlined, it's really lottery to everything that the mayor just said. Our hope here is that we populate with enough verified applicants so that these individuals will be randomly selected to be able to participate. There's no rubric. It's merely just random selection.
Then I'll send the next question to Mayor Tubbs, although I know Mayor Tubbs has had to leave possibly. So if he's not on, Cameron from Mayors for a Guaranteed Income and the Guaranteed Income Center. What work are we doing? Are we planning to work with a state legislator to implement a guaranteed income program statewide? I know our focus is federal, and we have had some champions to date, including now Vice President Kamala Harris. But Mayor Tubbs or Cameron, what is the political strategy in California?
Yeah, well, first, thank you for the question. And I would let you all know that Mayor Schaaf has been explicit from the time she signed up about what's the policy strategy, what's the political strategy. And the 49 other mayors are with her in that. So we've had a conversation. Yesterday, we had a meeting. I'll start federal, then go to state. Yesterday, we had a meeting with the Domestic Policy Council and the National Economic Council of the United States to talk about the work of guaranteed income, what's happening, talk about the American Rescue Plan, and talking about how to make it permanent and how to make these stimulus checks reoccurring. And in the state level, through my new role with the governor as an advisor on economic mobility and opportunity, rest assured, I'm probably on everyone in the Capitol's nerves, talking about sort of what can we do with the American Rescue Plan dollars to build on the Golden State stimulus, which was actually a form of guaranteed income, that one-time $600 check, and how do we keep that going and keep moving that forward. And I know that other folks in the legislature have reached out about sort of what we can do as a state. Advocate groups have reached out as well. So we're definitely working at feverish speed, walking and chewing gum, doing pilots, evaluating pilots, doing narrative work, and also working on the political strategy. And the work in Oakland, particularly given the way Oakland occupies the statewide imagination, is critical and key to that. I'm so excited about working with Mayor Schaaf and the Councilmember and others to push in the Oakland community to really push this forward so that the legislatures know that this is something that the people want. It's not just a cool idea, it's a necessity given the times we live in.
Great. Jesus, can you talk a little bit about the evaluation? How will we be documenting the progress of the program? And will the press have access to talk directly with recipients during the demonstration?
Sure, yeah. So as we mentioned, there'll be two groups. There'll be one group that we will be able to make available and raise the stories and really share in the impact of this work. And that is the group that will be launching this spring, based and targeting the East Oakland community. On the evaluation end, we'll have two evaluators working with us. We're in the process of finalizing those evaluations. I believe we can mention that the second evaluator the evaluator for the second group starting this summer will be the Center for Guaranteed Income and Research based out of UPenn. And then we'll be able to share more about the first once we have that finalized.
Great. Well, that seems to conclude our questions. Obviously, we're all available for any follow-up questions that any of you may have. Thank you so much for covering this exciting announcement of one of the largest guaranteed income demonstrations in the nation to date, right here in Oakland, California. Please go to OaklandResilient.org and find out more and sign up for updates. We are excited to have everyone participate in this transformative demonstration and path from pilot to policy. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Hey, Zinni.
Hey, man, how you get doing?
Hey, all good, all good.
Same here. Hey, you got time for a quick set of sharing with what you think about the program? I'm excited.
Yeah, it is exciting. It's extremely exciting.
And
Sure thing. What's the best way to do it?
I can send you a link now because I'm live. and you can go on, that way. I can share the link
Okay.
your text. Let me do that, and we'll just move forward. Yeah, I was saying to the mayor privately, I figured out how to finance this 2.5 years ago with tax increment financing. The reason is I was afraid that once we got into the philanthropy and there were people who would start checking on backgrounds from somebody else and all this jazz and, try to destroy the program rather than just saying, hey, they don't like it. You know what I mean? Because some media people tend to do that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did that. So let me put this link. Hold on a second. Let me, get this link here and put it through there. And excuse me, that, and put that link there. And okay, got that. Now, got the link here. Whoops, that didn't turn out right. Do it this way. Excuse me, that way. It's what happens when one does things a bit too fast. All right, got that and this. Okay, and I am going to take that link right here, copy it, send it to you via text. There. And this should go. Voila, just sent you the text.
Okay, cool. I'm getting a call from my comms director.
Okay.
I'm going to take that, like 2 minutes, and
Cool.
then I'll follow the text link.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay,
Cool. Okay,
all right,
cool.
bye.
I see you. Yeah, so Oakland District 6 Councilmember Loren Taylor is going to join us to talk more about the program. Someone says, Oakland used to be out championships until, okay, well, yeah, but that's not what this is about. This is about guaranteed. It's amazing how people are into one thought. It's a good idea to be to multitask. This is about the push to establish a guaranteed minimum standard of income. And it starts with helping Black folks like me. Although when I say Black folks, I don't mean I'm going to get or want to be a recipient of it. But there are two movements going on at the same time. It's very important to understand them. One is the push for reparations. The other is the push for a guaranteed minimum standard of income. And they're on a, when I say a collision course, I don't mean that in a negative way, but they are on a collision course such that some programs essentially touch on both objectives. And overall, as I see it, having been involved in different variations of this program for as long as I've been involved in economic development, which goes back to 1985, when I started working for the City of Oakland's redevelopment agency. And then when I was in school doing research on these programs, because, and I think it's important to understand where the program came from first, but, and I'll get to that in a second, but the need for this program has never been more acute. And I mean, beyond the breed component, or what others will call the racial component, because I believe we're just, different breeds of one race, right? But we have a gigantic problem of jobs and job creation that normally would be here going on elsewhere in the world, and then the products being sent here ostensibly to be consumed by us, but not made by us, or sold by us, but not made by us. And that used to be the case in the flip side, vis-a-vis the United States and the world. When you were on the other side of the coin, we were a richer country per capita. And now, adjusted for inflation, we're still richer, but our overall wealth is going down on a per capita income since we're adding people by birth that still continues to be a problem. When I was born, there were 160 million people in America. Now there are roughly 340 million people. We haven't increased in land size, by the way. We haven't increased in terms of jurisdictional control vis-a-vis the rest of the world, right? So what's going on is that we have a minimum standard of cost to live here that is not going down. It's not adjusting with our relative wage. And that's particularly shown in the cost for housing, which is why we have a gigantic and increasing homeless problem. So that landscape that I laid out for you impacts not just us as African Americans, but laborers in the South, people in the Appalachians, manufacturing workers losing their jobs in the North, farmers in the heart of the Midwest. It is a nationwide problem. And the more we develop automation to assist in production of services and product, the more acute the problem is going to be. That's already starting. And the pandemic has actually accelerated that process. So what we're talking about now is something that is such that we have to maybe put it this entirely other way. In my view, we have to be acutely concerned that this doesn't become a racial political issue. I remember 10 years ago, around the time of the emergence of the Tea Party, I thought, we're getting to a society that at some point in the future, when those who are white by demographics come up in age and are smaller in terms of total percentage of the population, and the wealth is divided differently, they will see themselves as less than, and they may protest about it. And folks, here we are today, and arguably it's far more than protest. The people who stormed the Capitol were not only bought and paid for in a number of cases, there were people who had money problems. So we're already here. So if we introduce this program on a national level, we have to, hold on a second. Yes, sir. Hold on a second. Let me try to send that text again. Thought I sent that. Wait.
Yeah.
That might have been me being bone. Oh, it said not delivered for some reason. That's weird. Let me try it again. Okay. Did it get to you this time?
Yes, I see it.
Cool. All right, cool. Thanks.
Sounds good. Yep.
Okay. Bye. That's Councilmember Taylor, who should be with us momentarily. Quite excited to have him on and to talk about this and its implications. I'm excited. I think this is going to be a great pointer to a brighter future for America. If we get this off the ground and when we get it such that it is beyond breed, right? Because so at any rate, I'm really excited about that and excited to have the Councilmember on. Let me hang up. Sorry, Loren.
Yep.
I'm saying good things about you. So, and Councilmember Taylor has been one of the people at the forefront of the of this program. And what's happening, and you would say for those of you who are younger watching this, how did we get to a point where we as African Americans are so, battle? Here's Councilmember Taylor. Hey, Councilmember, honored to have you. How are you, sir?
Hey, Zenny, doing well. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, you looking natty with the blazer. I like that.
Can you hear me okay?
Hey, so
All good. Just trying to keep up with you.
gosh, hey, talk to me about this exciting program that I have quite literally felt like I've lived with since I felt the first time I read about something like this, and you may be the same, was 1977 when the Nixon administration had first proposed and then killed, guaranteed national income. And I always felt that it was the key to America's future. And I can't tell you how delighted I am that we've gotten to this point, where we have this pilot program in Oakland. Talk to me about how this came about from your perspective and where you want to see this go.
Absolutely. Well, the fact that we are launching the country's largest guaranteed income pilot here in Oakland is an incredible opportunity, extremely exciting. It's going to be beneficial to Oaklanders, both as part of the pilot, but then the goal is that we use this as a demonstration point to increase the body of evidence. Great. I had a call coming in, so the screen went dark. But
that happens.
Yep. So the great thing is that we are pushing starting here with Oakland.
Yep.
I'm
still here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's just a bit of a lag that when the whole system comes through, that will be cut out automatically. So no worries there. Hey, what?
Okay. Yeah. So not sure where you want to take the conversation.
Mm-hmm. I think I lost you there a little bit, Councilmember. Let's see here.
Okay.
Might be repeat that question because you just came back in clearly. Repeat that statement, rather. Yeah. Might be. Let's see. I got an idea. Hey, you wanted?
Zinni, I didn't quite hear you.
Oh, I got an idea. I'm going to call you and get you on the speaker here, and that way we can talk that way. Let me do this. Let me try this.
Let's try that.
Yeah, cool. That'll work. Yeah.
Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So now that I got you here, this is the digital form of the council member. Yeah. So repeat what you were saying. You came through, but there was a latency issue, or for whatever reason. And what you were saying about the program.
Yeah, the main thing is that we are starting here in Oakland to build a body of evidence that really drives a national policy agenda so that we can, at the federal level, get to the scale that we really need to address poverty and address the magnitude of the social justice, racial justice that we're trying to impact.
When will the program start for those who might want to chime in and be part of the selection process?
So community engagement has already started. We have been reaching out to community partners who will help us to get the word out, to host focus groups, town halls, help to contribute to the final design and implementation of the pilot. We will be making sure that we're using multilingual communications. We will be engaging in a variety of different ways, from door knocking campaigns through community forums, online meetings, virtual and in person.
We'll be hosting informationals at festivals and outdoor farmers markets that are allowed to occur now. And so really looking at multi-dimensional approach to get the word out, get folks involved and engaged. One of the important things is that we are not doing a first come, first serve type of a model. We saw how terribly that worked with the vaccines and the testings and all of that for COVID. It's going to be a lottery process where folks are all sort of randomly selected based on those who express an interest, wanting to be involved, meet the criteria. So excited about actually doing this in a way that is inclusive, increases awareness and access for those who we're targeting, which is those most at need, our BIPOC communities that are low income. And we've got a couple different income thresholds for 2 different pilots or pilot groups. And so that's all available on the website.
Hey, I'd like to be able to find out if you have some sort of PR campaign or help you set that up. But let me cut to the chase. What I'd like is if somebody visits Oakland News Now, they can actually go to a link or a widget area and apply for the program. And that way it helps you with intake, but also it helps them understand right up front what the criteria are. And, you know, it becomes more of a which I guess you guys are probably going to do is sort of like having ads on social media, right? But in this instance, it's a portal that I would put up on Oakland News Now where people can actually go to and sign up that way too. That way they don't have to worry about saying, I didn't get an email or I don't know what else to do. You could say, you know, I can point them in that direction, have a video, say, hey, look at this, right?
Absolutely. Well, right now the website is up and it's live. And so it's oaklandresilientfamilies.org.
Oh, let me write that down. Oakland, I'll put this in the Oakland Resilient. How do you spell resilient?
Oakland Resilient, RESILIENT. And then families.org.
Oakland Resilient Families.org.
Yeah.
I guess that means I'm not very resilient.
We're working on it. We're working on everybody's resilience right now.
I have it in the field. OaklandResilientFamilies.org.
on that website, there's a way for you to put your name and email address so that you can stay informed when the actual sign up is available and for other events and activities to dig deeper. It's also got the criteria and other guiding principles in there. It's an FAQ section. So I want to encourage folks to go there to check it out.
OaklandResilientFamilies.org. Folks, I'm actually typing this in the field right now, and we'll show you through the magic of the internet what it looks like. And here it is, and I'm putting it in the area so that, first of all, this is the URL. First of all, folks, this is what it looks like for those of you watching here. There it is. And that's the website, folks, OaklandResilientFamilies.org. And here is the URL is right there in the field. And you can go there right now, check it out, sign up. I've also put the link in the field here for those of you watching. You just grab the link if you want. So there you go, Councilmember. We're off to a great start.
Perfect. Absolutely. And it's incredible that this pilot, we will be impacting 600 families, $500 per month for 18 months. And so that's going to be a significant impact. Yep. The largest, as I said, the largest guaranteed income pilot across the country.
That would help them a lot with keeping their places and rent if they're running out of room in a home or a similar situation like that, or
absolutely, absolutely, it'll help in so many different ways. And what I'll say is that this program and guaranteed income is based on a no strings attached policy, that those who are in poverty and know what it takes and what's most needed in order to escape it and to move forward. And so giving that no strings attached resource and support is fundamental to the philosophy, the theory of change that we're working on.
And so has anyone discussed the future of this program and crystal ball, what it should look like in the future? I know Libby mentioned statewide effort, and that can be done through tax increment financing, but I'm curious, is there an organization or group or effort that we can get involved in or start?
What I'll say is that we're really focused now on the learning that creates the case for greater investment, taxpayer dollars, et cetera. This is fully privately funded, which it doesn't take away from other sort of policies, other taxpayer investments that are there, and allows us to move forward and build that body of evidence so that we can make that case for investment into guaranteed income at the local, state, and federal levels.
I'm wondering, I don't know if this has ever come up, but has anyone, given the way this program is structured, it almost seems to invite itself to become an investment vehicle of a type that could then, cause its own creation of funds that replenish it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely hear what you're saying. I think that there's definitely legs in many directions that it could go. I'm not quite ready to pontificate or whiteboard that, but I think those are all directions that we could certainly head in terms of exploring. Yeah, and it's all about the learning right now to see what we can do at scale.
Yeah, what I was saying to my viewers is that the problem that we face nationwide is we have a lot of jobs that used to be done here that are done someplace else, and automation takes away our ability to, what would be in the past, replace those jobs, right? The whole, automation has destroyed the whole idea of import replacing, because the import replacing is done by a machine. So this looks like something that, is timely. It's right on time, and I'm excited that we're doing it. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. I'm excited as well. Glad to partner with so many individuals and organizations that are really making this happen for Oakland, and particularly East Oakland.
Yeah, I know you got a busy schedule on you, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Zenny. Always a pleasure.
You too, man. I'll see you. Got it.
Bye.
That was Oakland District 6 Councilmember Loren Taylor, who is, along with Mayor Schaaf, has been leading the charge on getting this program started. That concludes this live stream, which is going to be divided into separate videos for upload. This is already uploaded, as you can see, but there's so much information here that it's just got to be disseminated properly. All right, subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com, and that ends this broadcast. Thank you.